Imagine being told that our fascination with catastrophe, car crashes, storms, failed launches, relationships imploding in real time, is not a glitch in the human soul, but a mirror. What if the part of you that slows down to look at wreckage is not simply morbid, but ancient, older than language, older than law? What if it was the same instinct that once kept your ancestors alive, and now, in a world of screens and spectacle, keeps you scrolling? Now think, what if Aristotle himself held the key to why we sit through tragedy with rapt attention and leave feeling strangely lighter? What if Jung, Freud, and the poets we've long misunderstood were all pointing to the same revelation, that watching disaster is not merely voyeurism, it's ritual, initiation, and sometimes redemption? This is not a moral lecture. I'm not here to scold your curiosity. I'm here to show you what lives beneath it. And it begins with one of the most subversive questions you can ask yourself: why can't I look away? And a second, even sharper: what do I gain by watching? If you stay with me until the end, you'll see the architecture of your own attention with terrifying clarity. And yes, the last insight will be the one that changes how you relate to fear, media, and your own life. Before we descend, subscribe, like, and leave a comment with the last disaster you couldn't ignore. Was it a storm, a scandal, a breakup, a market crash? Your stories fuel conversations that actually matter. Share this with someone who keeps doom scrolling and calls it staying informed, because we are only getting started. Now, step with me into the arena. Socrates walked barefoot through Athens asking questions that undressed certainty. He would have asked us today, what is it you call a disaster, a spectacle of loss, or a classroom of the soul? The Romans packed colosseums to see blood. We gather in digital colosseums, breaking news tickers, live feeds, timelines, to witness a different kind of fall. The form has changed. The appetite has not. Here's the paradox. In public, we condemn tragedy. In private, we study it. Why? Because beneath the social mask lives a biological truth. Your nervous system prioritizes danger. The ancestors who ignored rustling grass did not pass on their curiosity. Those who stared at the horizon, the fire, the flood, the sudden silence, lived. Our attention to catastrophe is not perversion, it is inheritance. But that is only the first layer. There is a second force coiled inside the first, novelty. The brain is a prediction engine. It loves patterns until a pattern breaks, and then it wakes up. A bridge collapses, a star player falls, a politician's empire crumbles. The map no longer matches the territory, and dopamine knocks on the door. Notice, learn, update. Disasters, real or symbolic, are updates to the model. You watch not just because you fear, you watch because you are a student of reality, even when the lesson hurts. Aristotle called it catharsis, the cleansing we feel after witnessing tragedy, not because pain is pleasant, but because contained pain is instructive. In the theatre of calamity, we practice feeling terror and pity without being annihilated by them. We cry for Oedipus, tremble with Antigone, hold our breath in modern films when cities burn or spacecraft fail, and we leave somehow lighter. Why? Because the emotion we refuse to feel becomes the emotion that rules us. Tragedy lets us feel it, safely. That is the cathartic bargain. But there is a darker current that runs beneath the stage lights. The Germans named it Schadenfreude, the small, forbidden thrill when misfortune visits someone else. We don't want to admit it, so it moves in shadows. It's not born of cruelty so much as comparison. I am okay. I am safer than that. In a single guilty heartbeat, our status rises by not falling. The ego keeps score and the scoreboard lights up during disaster. Jung would warn us here, what we do not own will own us. If we deny the shadow, the part that finds relief in the fall of others, it does not disappear. It governs from the dark. But if we name it, it becomes information, not destiny. The work is not to pretend purity. The work is to be honest enough to grow. And yet, even this is not the deepest truth. There is another magnet inside catastrophe, older than Schadenfreude, more terrifying than novelty, more profound than catharsis. The philosophers called it the Sublime, that shiver you feel before mountains, storms, exploding stars. Burke and Comte both tried to touch it with language, a mingling of awe and terror that expands the soul. When we watch disaster, not mere gossip, but genuine rupture, we feel the edge of our smallness. And paradoxically, we enlarge. We sense the vastness that contains even ruin, and for a moment we glimpse a freedom that does not depend on outcomes. The sublime humbles us, and in humility we become spacious. Of course, the modern world knows how to harvest ancient currents. Media learned long ago that fear outperforms serenity. A calm lake does not interrupt your day. A burning building will. Timelines reward extremes. Outrage and catastrophe travel faster than nuance. What do we call it? Engagement. What is it really? Captivity. Bread and circuses updated for the algorithm. But don't reduce this to the media is bad. Media is not a monster, it's a mirror and a market. The deeper question is this: why do we buy? Because we confuse vigilance with agency. We think if we watch closely enough, we are safer, smarter, prepared. Sometimes we are, often we are simply anxious with better graphics. Here a crucial distinction. There is a difference between preparedness and preoccupation. Preparedness asks, what would I do? It studies disasters to strengthen response, earthquake drills, emergency kits, emotional tools. Preoccupation asks, what might happen next, and never returns to the present. One breeds competence, the other breeds paralysis. Most doom scrolling is not learning, it is rehearsing helplessness. And yet, there is a strange, unpopular gift in watching things fall apart. Clarity. Disasters strip illusions. The wind tears off the billboard and you see the rusted scaffold. The scandal breaks and you see the character beneath the costume. The market plunges and you see who knows how to breathe. Disaster is revelation at speed. Nietzsche would smirk here. You say you love the truth. Do you love the consequences of loving it? We claim we want reality. Reality arrives uninvited. The roof leaks, the friend betrays, the plan fails. When we watch disaster, we secretly ask, could I face mine with eyes open? This is why the image of a calm person in chaos moves us so deeply, not because they are numb, but because they are rooted. Disasters reveal the difference between performance and presence. Now, the psyche's private theatre. Freud wrote of Thanatos, the death drive, our pull toward endings, toward repetition of pain. Jung countered with individuation, the soul's journey toward wholeness through confrontation with the shadow. Disaster sits at the crossroads. The same event can feed your compulsion to relive fear, or it can initiate you into a larger self. The difference is consciousness. Are you consuming the collapse, or are you studying it? Are you escaping your life, or are you preparing to meet it? Terror management theory adds another lens. When mortality becomes salient, sirens, smoke, ambulances, we cling harder to our worldviews. We defend our tribes, mock outsiders, double down on certainty. Why? Because death exposure shakes the scaffolding of meaning, and we scramble to rebuild it. This is why disasters polarize. But this is also precisely where wisdom can enter. Instead of retreating into slogans, you can ask, what matters if this all ends? Who do I become under pressure? What can I let go of now, before life rips it from my hands? And then there is the body. Mirror neurons make us flinch at oncoming impact in a video that will never touch us. Vicarious experience runs on real wiring. Your breath shortens, shoulders rise, jaw tightens. Notice this not to judge yourself, but to reclaim choice. If you can feel your body during the watching, you can also choose when to stop. Awareness is the off switch. Let's return to myth, where human truth wears costume. Icarus ascends on wax and longing. The sun is not cruel, only itself. He falls, and for thousands of years we've watched him fall. Why? Because he is us. Every ambition carries risk. Every dream sails near heat. The crowd in us gasps at the splash. The sage in us asks, how will I build wings that can endure the light? Mythic disaster is a manual disguised as a warning. And Cassandra, she saw the disaster that others denied. The curse was not her vision. It was our refusal to listen. In our age, experts warn of slow, statistical catastrophes, climate, systems, mental health, and we prefer the drama of a single viral explosion to the patience of prevention. Why? Because spectacle is simple, stewardship is slow. Disaster gives us a clear villain and a thrilling arc. Prevention asks for humility and maintenance, but if watching disaster is rehearsal, the highest form of rehearsal is acting before the sirens. So what do we do with all this? First, name the engine. Negativity bias. Your brain overweights threats. Respect it, and then balance it. For every crisis you consume a case study of resilience. If you watch the town flood, also watch the town rebuild. Wire your nervous system not just for alarm, but for aftermath and agency. Second, reclaim limits. Set a boundary with disaster. When? How long? What for? Consume with intention. Ask before you click. Am I learning, preparing, or just inflaming? Choose one documentary that teaches response over 20 clips that teach fear. Third, practice counter-imagery. After witnessing ruin, visualize response. Your hands packing a bag, your voice making the call, your breath staying steady. Pair adrenaline with skill, pair fear with form. This rewires helplessness into competence. Fourth, cultivate the sublime without catastrophe. Go to the ocean, the mountain, the night sky. Let yourself tremble before magnitude that doesn't bleed. Awe that is not parasitic breaks the monopoly of horror over your sense of depth. Fifth, when the disaster is emotional, breakup, betrayal, collapse, treat your attention as sacred. Do not binge your own pain. Give it ritual, pen and paper, a walk, a friend who listens more than speaks. Witness without worship. And finally, the revelation I promised. We do not merely like watching disasters unfold. We are trying to remember something through them. That we are temporary, that control is partial, that meaning must be made, not granted. Disaster reminds you, sometimes violently, that life is not a guarantee, it is a gift. The secret is not to chase collapse for the high of survival. The secret is to live so presently that you don't need catastrophe to wake up. Socrates would stand in the smoke and ask, "What is in your power?" Epictetus would answer, "Perception, choice, action. You cannot command the storm, you can command the hand that steadies the lantern. You can command the mouth that speaks calm. You can command the feet that walk toward the vulnerable, instead of toward the spectacle." So the next time your thumb hovers above a video of someone else's worst day, pause. Ask, will this make me smaller or wiser, numb or ready? And if you choose to watch, watch like a student, not a spectator. Let the lesson change how you live, not just how you scroll. Because in the end, the most radical act is not to look away, it is to look within, and then to act in the world with eyes open. If something here shifted your perspective, subscribe, leave your reflection below, and share this with someone who needs a gentler way to meet a chaotic world.